This is the use of Artemis Part 2. Um, Part 1, we went through all the controls and how to take just a basic image. Just about ran out of time. But anyway, you can do single images all night long, as I showed you before. And I'm going to reduce the length of the subs down just so we can, we're going to do 15 seconds. Binned times 1. I'm not going to autosave. For some reason or other, my browse button's not working, but it certainly works okay on my laptops. So I'm just going to show you some quick 15-second exposures. These are going to be darks because I've got the lens cap on. So I'm going to loop, and I'm going to ask it to autosave. So down here you can see 10, 9, 8, 7, and then it will come up on the screen when it's finished. The coolers, I'm putting the cooler on. So it's downloading still, and you can see that's an image that's been downloaded, and then it goes straight on to the second image. There's no gap between the images using this method. So the second one will come down now. That was 004, and the second one will be 005. Now, in order to stop it saving any more images, you need to untick the autosave and you need to untick the looping. And now you can see it's idle. Now, the more advanced way of doing it is to use the sequencer. So what you can do is you can tell the sequencer how many seconds. So say it's 600 and you want luminance, you put the luminance in there, and the filter position will be filter position 1, and you want 1 times 1 binning, and you enable that. Now if you're going to, in the same sequence, do RGB, you can tick the second one and tell it how long you want the red to be, for instance. Now say I wanted 300 seconds in red, and say I wanted to bin it. You don't have to. You you tick 2 times 2, and you select the filter position for the red, and it'll put these L and R on the end of the file name for you, so you know which filter it is. So we're going to do the same with green. I'm going to bin it times 2, position 3, green, and blue, and I'm going to bin it times 2, and that's filter position 4, blue. Now if I wanted to add some HA to this imaging run, I could put, say, 600, and I'm going to not bin that, and I would put position 5 in, and I can call that HA. Now what you can do, you can actually save, you keep doing this every single time, you can save the settings, and so it'll take you into the folder that this browse button's not wanting to reach, and then you can call that LRGB HA. So you can recall that sequence another time. So if you close that and then reopen it, it'll still have the settings on there. So I'm not quite sure how you can get rid of that, but if you wanted to load the settings anyway, you click on that button and then you click on your LRGBHA or whatever you've decided to call it, and it will reload it every time for you, so you don't have to keep repeating that sequence. Now, there's no way, what you can do here is a delay between exposures, I beg your pardon, and then how many you want of these images. Now, generally speaking, I just do a whole load of them. I mean, I'm never going to get 20 done in one night, but if you don't put a minimum number in there, it'll stop. If you only had, say, 1 in there, it would do one sequence of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and then stop. So I tend to put more than I'm likely to need in an evening. And then I'm not going to tick run just yet, because there's another thing you need to know, this sequence repeat mode. Now if you look here, there's a choice of 2. If you pick 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, what it will do 25 exposures on line 1 and then 25 exposures on line 2, which is not really the option that I ever choose, because I want to get a whole sequence repeatedly throughout the evening. Otherwise you could end up with 25 luminance and nothing else, or 1 red or something. So I always pick this one, 1, 2, 3, so it will do the sequences in turn. Now there's no way of asking it to do twice as many luminance as HA unless you literally put it in twice, if that's what you want to do. So if you want to do 2 luminance for every RGB, you need to put it in twice. So let's see how our time's going. We've got 6 minutes 19. So that's the sequencer, and then you ask it to run. Now, if you happen to be looping and then you open the sequencer, you can see that run is greyed out. So run will not work unless you untick the looping. Okay, so then you will ask it to run. And then what it's telling you here, it's doing an exposure for 9 minutes. Well, it's going down to 9 minutes 52, 51, 50 seconds. And it's telling you it's doing line 1, repeat 1. And then when it goes on to line 2, it will say line 2, repeat 1. So the 1 is how many counts, and the line is which line it's actually doing. And it will change all the filters for you. So that's how to use the sequencer. Now I don't think I've got time to use this tool here. In fact, I don't want to run out of time. So I'm going to shut this one down now. This is end of part 2.